This sort of segues a little bit into a conversation I wanted to bring up. In the other interview you did about a year ago, I forget his name, but it sparked something. I thought it sounded so good. You said YouTube is the last place where the artist is alive in filmmaking. And I thought that that was like so good because like that's like part of why I love YouTube so much is because like it's not necessarily about one specific video that is like super amazing and super like crazy. It's about like all of the videos and it's about the person behind the videos and like
Yeah.
people like Donkey and yourself and Gus Johnson. Like you know, it's a you're sort of like creating something that is like a I don't know. It feels like a better YouTube almost. You know, that's not just trying to get clickbait like views and be super crazy like Jake Paul or anything like that. It's a it feels new and it feels like a new wave of like filmmakers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's something I'm incredibly passionate about. I definitely, yeah, I know you went to film school, right? Because you had a thesis film on your channel. Yeah. Um, I went to film school, and you're kind of fed the one path of create a short, send it to festivals. It gets into festivals. Then you get funding for your feature. You send that to festivals, and that's like the best case scenario. That doesn't happen for 95% of people, you know? But like, that's kind of the only path they told me. And I'm kind of still shocked to this day that like I paid and all these people paid to go to a school and not once did they recommend YouTube as a potential route for filmmaking. Like not a single professor was like, here's this thing that like, and it's not even just like creative freedom. YouTube I love for the creative freedom, but even just for the money. If you succeed on YouTube, you make way more than you would ever make directing for a studio. So it's like, it's not even like a practical, like, you got to do this to have a practical career. Because I think YouTube, if you have the passion and drive, is the most practical career in filmmaking right now. And it's so funny to me that no one brought that up. And like what you were saying about the artist being alive, what I said, I guess, but is that people don't go to movies anymore. I mean, in general now, but like people don't go to movies or watch a movie on Netflix and be like, "Wow, I love that movie by whoever, Alfonso Cuarón," or I think I gave the same example last time. People don't. Most people don't say that. People do, but most people don't. Most people say, "Wow, what a great movie by Netflix." You know, what a great movie by Marvel or Disney. The artist has like died in that way because it's so corporatized that there isn't like an auteur of cinema anymore in those spheres. We've kind of whittled it down to the production companies. Even A24 runs into that problem. It's like most people are like they treat it like a creative entity, and it's like A24 exists to make money. They're not like talk about the filmmakers and the artists, not the money men. YouTube is like that last place where there is that face recognition. There is that name recognition. Like you were saying, you're not just creating a single video, or it's not just like this is all they're going to see and move on. It's like there's an understanding with YouTube that the thing you're watching is on a channel and that channel is created by someone, you know? And so if you like that thing, you could click on the channel, subscribe to it, look at their other stuff, and then that way the channel is as a whole the artwork. You know, the channel as a whole is the thing, and that's why I post such a wide variety of stuff because I want the channel to be kind of an accurate portrait of who I am. You know, me and my style and my sense of humor and my personal life. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that only YouTube could capture because it's like, oh, this guy's making me laugh here. He's making me cry here. He's making me smile here. And I think, you know, there's such like a distance in any other venue of filmmaking. There's such a like pay for a ticket, move on, the artist will never know, you know. But YouTube, you could comment, you could support them directly, and like I, on Patreon or something. There's like a, and then they see your name, and then they can put your name in the video if that's how they do it. It's just like there's so many venues now online that are just so much more interesting in every way that it blows my mind that film school doesn't pitch you them or doesn't even pretend they exist, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I really feel like we're sitting on like the new film industry. Like it started maybe, 10 or 15 years ago when YouTube and video internet started happening. But like 20 years from now, like no one is going to be talking about like, okay, so you need to do your distribution at the festivals. Like it's going to be off the table completely. Like we're going to be talking about TikTok and YouTube and Instagram video and shit. Like this is the future.
And I think there's like a fundamental misunderstanding, like a fundamental, what's the word? It's a connotation with YouTube that I don't think has to exist. You know, people think YouTube is, oh, vlogging. They're sitting in front of the camera and talking, but technology is so accessible nowadays. YouTube can be indistinguishable from theaters. It could be like you could make stories and films and movies and documentaries, and I think there's just such a bad word with YouTube, and there are a lot of people that you run into that are like, oh, that's not film, that's video. And it's like is Avengers not video? Avengers isn't shot on film. They shot that on, yeah. It's like, so it's like, I think film is a more encompassing word, and I just choose to use it because it signals to the medium, you know. Video feels like a subsection, and yes, everything on YouTube is video, but I think it's also film. And I think semantics is the worst discussion ever. Just, oh, this term is wrong, this term is wrong, and people who talk about semantics just don't have anything interesting to actually say. But the range of what can be created on YouTube is unlimited, way more so than anything in a theater. Because to get to a theater, you need the sheen of professionalism, and you need the sheen of polish and expense, you know. And like, you won't see something in a theater that isn't trying to be perfect. And YouTube allows for this realm where things don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to be professional, and they don't have to be expensive, you know. Like, and you know, I'm not talking out my butt. I have 7 features on my channel, and like my latest one costs $0. You know, it's not. And people, I'd love to see people commenting on that. That's really that's such a personal piece, and I love to see people commenting on that. But yeah, you can't make stuff, is all I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's something that I want to see more people do. Like iDubbbz did it a few times. Like he would drop like, I think he's dropped 2 almost feature, like 50, 55-minute films, which is like, that should be like something that like more creators want to like aspire to. Like no one really wants to, some people want to just grind out 3 or 4 videos a week, but like, I feel like creators like creating, and sometimes you want to just like make something really big and really complicated, or like any sort of scale. Like it's all available on YouTube when it's not in all of those other forms.
I think there's a danger with success on YouTube that I've noticed with a lot of bigger channels, especially as they get bigger, is there's a very strong tendency for people to kind of become apathetic, you know. And I think that's a lot of channels are like one-trick ponies, you know. They're like, this is the thing people like, so let's just do it hundreds of times. And I think there's like should be, and iDubbbz, I really love to see him putting out big stuff like that, because like he's such a voice on the platform. And he's clearly somebody who's driven to do something because he loves to do it, you know?
Exactly.
Because all of his fans just want him to spew edgy nonsense all day. And it's refreshing to see him almost become more wholesome and pursue something with a little more humanity. But
Even like his like series with like the, I don't know how much you watch him, and I don't watch him that much either, but like he did like the thing with like the squirrels in his backyard, like,
oh
which was
yeah,
kind of that, like that was really silly, and like but it felt very much of him just like having fun and like playing with shots and stuff like that, and so it's, yeah, it is good to see them doing stuff like that.
yeah, I think that there's a danger of falling into that apathetic hole where you just create what you're comfortable creating. But I just think it's because we don't have enough voices pushing that, enough people coming on the platform being like, I'm going to do this and that and this, and I'm going to do this and it's going to suck, but at least I tried, and I'm going to do this and it's going to be awesome, and I don't know why, but, like, I think YouTube has everything right now except enough people pushing everyone else to be more ambitious. I think the vast majority of the big creators on YouTube have kind of settled into a rut, accepted that this is what they're going to do till the paychecks stop coming in. And I think people like iDubbbz, and I'm not even sure, I don't watch enough of him either. I've only really seen the documentaries lately, but uh, people like him taking that step to be like, let's try this, or let's like just take risk and do stuff like that. And I think YouTube is going to become this new realm for filmmaking. If you just have enough of those people doing that, and then enough people watching being like, hey, I want to try that. And then, more people grow big, like blow up overnight because they make something ambitious rather than just trying to make another daily vlog, or just trying to make another makeup tutorial, people.
And you never know when like that one random one is just gonna like connect with people in some sort of way, and you know change the channel forever, like those animations.
Yeah.
What would you say is like your you've sort of touched around this subject a decent amount already, but like what's your favorite part about making movies?
I think it's got to be just well, all my stuff is improvised. Like I haven't written anything in years, and I think that is my favorite part. Because I was gonna say the collaborating, like the shooting, where me and my friends are just cracking each other up and making it up, and somehow by some miracle it always turns into something, but then that negates all the films I make alone, and I still love doing those too. So I guess it boils down to even just making myself laugh, because a lot of them I do make just myself, and you got to be able to make yourself laugh. And I think filmmaking has honed that skill for me, where I can almost be my own entertainment sometimes. Like you're having a lonely night or a sad night, it's like turn on the camera, pretend you're in some old movie or a western, crack yourself up, and then you have something to work on for the next day or two. And I think it's that it does fill that hole. It kind of creates even in the loneliest times, I have these abilities now where I can make something out of it, and whether that be with friends or alone, I think that's the best part of filmmaking, just being able to not escape. I don't like to use the word escapism, because I think all film relates to some sort element of reality in some way. So I don't think you're escaping. You're just embracing the good times, I guess, or embracing the laughter, and even when you're sad. And I think that was one of the big things that got me through my dad's passing, is I didn't stop. I think that's the only time I missed a weekly upload, but even then I like missed it by like a day or two, because I'm like, the last thing my dad would want was for me to stop doing what I love, just because I'm bummed out. You could still be funny when you're sad. My dad was the funniest person in the world with like stage 4 cancer, so I think you got no excuse not to make yourself laugh, and filmmaking is a great outlet for that.
Yeah, it is. Was your dad a filmmaker?
No, he was just acted and collaborated with me so much. We just did it. I kind of suckered him into the whole thing, and then he loved it. We just did it together. He's a super creative guy. He was a cabinet maker. He was an artisanal cabinet maker. He was super good at that. But yeah, he was such a naturally funny and social guy that you could throw him in anything. And the funniest thing I remember is because he would always want to make a film with whoever we were with, which is kind of my thing as well. And he brought back like I think he was a guy from Colombia. My dad went to the bar and he met this Colombian man who was just drunk off his ass. And he brought him home and he's like, we got to get Roman in the film. And Roman was just totally, and I'm like, who is this man you just brought home? I wish we got him in the film, but the guy was totally out of it. But, so my dad was he was all in, to him, it was our channel, I see a lot of comments like, oh, he really helped you. I'm like, I don't know. I think we just were doing this together because, he saw it as like our group project and there's nothing he would have wanted more than it to succeed like it has. And
yeah, you guys have like such good like chemistry like in all your videos. It's just I expected him to like have, I'm sure he did have a lot of influence on your like comedy style, but like that one film like Son, where he's like playing your son, like that, it's hilarious.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites. I purposely had that pinned on the channel as kind of until something else happens. I'll probably always have that on the front page of the channel just because I think it's the perfect introduction. It's accessible and weird at the same time, and it's like that one is really, I think that might be his and I's best, but it's hard to say. But I think yeah.
Hello, thank you for watching this segment of my interview with Joel Haver. It was really, really nice talking to him, and watching all this footage back is he had a lot of nice things to say, and so it's I don't know, it's just really, really nice to talk to him, and I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more conversations with filmmakers, YouTubers, more live highlights of my stream and conversations about YouTube and the industry and stuff like that. Yeah, bye.